Hey everyone, it's Michael. I have kind of like a rant to do today, and I don't know why I want to even bother making this video. Maybe you'll care, maybe you won't. I don't know what it's like to live outside of the US, much less outside of my state in the US. But I gotta be honest, man. You know, for anybody who's just finding this video and doesn't understand like what the title means or doesn't understand why I'm a Goosebumps channel ranting about thrift stores, or antique stores is more like it. So where I live currently, there are two used bookstores, and I like both a lot. I think they're really nice stores. Neither one ever have any Goosebumps. Ever. Now, I'm a big collector of Goosebumps. Mainly the books, the movies, like the DVDs and TV episodes and VHS tapes and stuff like that. If I find something here or there, like a slappy toy or something, I might grab it. I don't know. If I find it for a decent price. I'm a big collector for that. I like talking about Goosebumps. That's what my whole channel is focused around. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have recently, and today just kind of settled that 110% for me, I've recently decided to just give up on going to antique stores. Because I had never realized until recently, when I had a little bit of a good day trying to find some Goosebumps inside of one of these places, I went to an antique store maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I found, I think it was 3 books. Yeah, it was like Cuckoo Clock of Doom and Phantom of the Auditorium and I think How to Kill a Monster, something like that. I found those 3 books for like $3 a piece in an antique shop. And we have a lot of those around in this area that I live in, and then outside of it a little bit we have a couple of more. And today I kind of just wanted to go out. I had to take my fiance to work, and she's getting her car inspected and stuff. So I had to kind of just kill some time. I decided to basically just drive around everywhere, just go to a bunch of antique stores and stuff. I really shouldn't have. I should have just stayed home in bed because I wasted basically my whole day. It has gotten to the point, and this is the thing that gets me. Goosebumps books are old enough now, mainly the old series, where they could be in antique stores. But antique stores aren't even here where I live, at least. They're not even what you would think an antique store should be. It's not like something you'd see in a Goosebumps episode where you walk in, it's one owner and he bought all this stuff. It's not like that. Here, where I live, all of the antique stores, and I don't know how common this is amongst everybody else who happen to be watching this video, where I live, most of these typically are a bunch of different vendors. Maybe they have their own stores, maybe they're just a regular random Joe like myself that come in there and put a bunch of stuff up that they own they want to get rid of in a small little section they bought or purchased or rented or whatever inside of the store. Now we have some huge antique stores and you can find some cool stuff. If you're a fan of, let's say, like those old really tiny Bugs Bunny comic book type things, they're like small novels, like a short story, but they're really small, like this big, and they have like, you know, pictures on like every other page and stuff like that. If you like stuff like that, or the old Scooby-Doo ones or the Porky Pig ones, you can find so much stuff like that. Right now, there's an old movie called Small Soldiers, right? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's about the toys coming to life. It's like evil Toy Story. I loved that movie when I was a kid. I was terrified of it. They have the main bad guy toy from that movie in that store for like $75, unopened box and everything, and I was dumbfounded by that. They have good stuff, especially in the one that I went to today. I think it's the first one I went to today. And I went to probably 3 or 4 different antique shops today because Goosebumps books should be in these places. They have told me when I've asked the employees and stuff, they said they have seen them in there before, but that it's almost like as soon as they come in, they're gone. I literally got up and got there at like 10:15, and the store opened at 10. Mainly the big one, the good one that I love the most. There was no one there. There were no real shoppers, maybe 3 or 4 cars, maybe in the parking lot, aside from mine. And 2 of those might have been the 2 different employees for all I know. I physically cannot find Goosebumps anywhere in my area. I just can't. And I don't live in like a backwoods type thing, you know? Like I live in the city. We have so many different stores and so many restaurants and everything. It's not like I live out in the middle of nowhere. There's no reason why these bookstores, used bookstores, and why things like Goodwill and things like, you know, all these different shops, these thrift stores. Well, we don't really have thrift stores per se. We have some, but not really. There's like one chain and that's it, and it kind of sucks. But we don't have like anything ever. We never have Goosebumps books at these places. Literally, the only place you can get Goosebumps books at in my area is Barnes & Noble with the reissues and the newer books that have come out. And I already have those. I don't need those. I want the old ones, like Series 2000 and the TV books that I already have all of those. But I'm just saying as an example. I want the older books that I can't find. You can't even find the Horrorland books that came out in like 2008 around here. That's how bad and sparse it's gotten. And I don't understand in my head what has happened. Why is it like this now? You know, Goosebumps was huge in the 90s, and I know that there's some books here and there that are going to be harder to find. But when you genuinely cannot find absolutely anything at all, it shocks me. I don't know how you can't find anything. You can't find even a hat or like a TV or like a t-shirt or anything like that. But specifically, no books. As many copies of that book series that were sold, you can't find a single book here. I don't know what it is. Everybody, like this morning, when I went to IHOP this morning, before I went shopping, right? I had Monster Blood 3 with me on the table, and my waitress, who's in her 50s or 60s, saw the book and knew immediately what it was and knew immediately that it was Goosebumps. Started telling me all these stories. We talked about Goosebumps really heavily and everything. It was awesome. She's a really sweet lady. Apparently another table even gave her a $100 tip. That was pretty cool. She was really nice. Goosebumps is not lost to the public. Everybody knew what it was. I didn't, because I was so young when it came out in 92. When it got big in like 93 and 94 and whatnot. But still, I don't understand how that this isn't able to be found anywhere. I almost wish I had, but it was also kind of risky. I almost took an hour-long drive to another area of my state to go see this one particular store that I see listed all the time on like Amazon selling books and stuff. And I couldn't bring myself to do it because when I called, they said they had 30 or 40 different type of Goosebumps books. Used and new, and I was like, okay, well, maybe they have some old stuff. They said they have a variant of everything. They have Series 2000, Original Classic, but see, I have so much of the Classic series. I only need like 12 books left of the Classic series, maybe not even that, maybe 10. I have so many of the old classics, and I have maybe half of Series 2000, so would that trip even be worthwhile? Would they have any Horrorland books? I think he mentioned that they had some, but still. You know, I asked them about TV book number 16, Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. They didn't have it. So I was just like, you know what, if my mom doesn't want to go, if I come and pick her up and she goes, then we'll go. But if she doesn't want to go, then I'm not going. So I didn't go. I just went to another area, like 30 minutes away from where I live, to see if there was anything there. There was nothing. I went to Rescue Mission. There was nothing at Rescue Mission. Can you believe that? Nothing at Rescue Mission. Goosebumps books. Nothing. Nothing given away. So all I can come to the thought of is that either there is a person who runs a shop or runs an internet store or something, like does Amazon scalping, who goes out and buys every single freaking Goosebumps book in my area at all the stores ever around. Somehow he either gets them all or they get them all if there's more than one. I'm assuming there would have to be more than one. I'm assuming that that's what's happening. Either that or they physically just don't exist. Like somebody's just out there catching every Goosebumps book they can catch, like their Pokemon or something, and burning them all. I don't know. I physically can't find anything, guys. You know, for the longest time, I didn't go back to any of the antique stores looking for this stuff because there's nothing out there. There's no reason for me to go. I mean, yeah, maybe you'll find some Goosebumps merchandise every once in a while. I didn't find nothing. I ain't found nothing Goosebumps merchandise-wise. Not a DVD, not a VHS, nothing. I think the closest I've ever come is I went to a pawn shop one time and they had about 3 or 4 Goosebumps DVDs. I think it was from maybe the second time they released some of the episodes on like 2 or 3 at one disc. 2 or 3 different types of episodes on one disc is what I mean. It's physically impossible, and I'm so sick of trying to find this stuff. I've been ordering everything offline. That's why when I do my book hauls each week, while you guys hear me talk about how I ordered this, and this, and got them this week or whatever, because I can't find anything in public, unless I get a new book like Slappy, or The Dummy Meets the Mummy from Slappy World. That's the only way I can find anything anymore. It genuinely has gotten to the point that you cannot find anything. And even with that being said, the earlier Slappy World books, you can't find them in my Barnes & Nobles here. There's 2 that we have. They don't have none of them. Or they don't have any of the earlier Slappy World books. No Horrorland. If they have any Horrorland at all, it's Revenge of the Living Dummy and maybe Weirdo Halloween. Maybe. which I don't have that, and now it's gone. There was the 12 Screams of Christmas that I kept seeing float around for a really long time, and finally I got a copy of it when I went out of town to go to my fiance's dad's house to see him for one weekend, and his wife. I guess my fiance's stepmother. Whatever. I love them both. They're great. But it is absolutely just nerve-grating, the fact that I cannot find anything in my area. It should not be this hard to find books that are this... They're antiques because they're past like 20 years or 25 years or whatever now. But the thing is, for me, is that I can go into these stores. I found so many freaking Nancy Drew books and Hardy Boys books today. What I bought at one of the stores that I went to, out of all the antique stores I visited today, I got a big stack of the young adult, not young adult, but like the kids, Jude Watson type stuff from the old Star Wars books from like episode 1 and 2, Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace. Stuff like Jedi Quest, which is when Anakin's growing up. The Boba Fett books, I got a bunch of those today, if not all of them. I don't know how many there was, but I think I got like 6, so there might be the whole series right there. Got it all for 20 bucks. It was like, I think 15 books? It's something like that. It was a big old stack of stuff. But, I'm absolutely sick of trying to find Goosebumps. I can find Star Wars books that have been out of print forever, that have not been back in print at all, can't get them digitally or anything. I can find that kind of stuff, but I physically cannot find like the biggest bookseller of all time from the 90s, which was not that long ago. It's impossible. But there's stuff like Hardy Boys that are floating around that haven't been published in print for like 60 years. You know, in the old, like, blue, you know what I'm talking about. If you know Hardy Boys, you know like the old blue hardcovers. I've seen so many of those today, probably 10 different ones today. Out of like the 50 or 60 of those that exist, I've seen so many Nancy Drew books today floating around, which I never see those either, but I've seen a ton of those today. I'm dumbfounded. I'm finding toys of like Wolverine and stuff from the 90s for like $3 at the really, really good store I went to first today. I didn't buy it because I don't need any more action figures, but those Wolverine toys were sick, man. Again, coming out of the 90s. Why is it impossible to find Goosebumps books right now at any of these places? I just don't know what the next approach needs to be. I'm just going to stick with buying online. Unless I find something out in the wild at one point, just for whatever reason, then I'll grab it then, and I'll talk about it, of course, here on the channel. Because I'm trying to find the stuff and get my collection together for my sake, but also for you guys, so that we can talk about the stuff. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with you guys, and it's going to be a while to cover all of it. God willing, I am allowed to cover all of it. But still, I'm having a really good time talking about it with you guys, and these weekly collection videos are fun to talk about. And you would think something like a used bookstore would be the best place you could possibly find tons and tons of Goosebumps, but honest to God, it is impossible. You can't find them there. You can't find even like the graphics books that are like comic book adaptations of some of the old classic series books, like Night of the Living Dummy and Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, Attack of the Lawn Gnomes, or Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, whatever it's called. You physically cannot find any of this stuff now. I don't understand why it's so hard. And then I'll catch weird stuff. Like, there's people like, well, his name used to be Goosebumps Aussie Fan. Now his new channel's name is 90s Portal. His name is Bjorn. Bjorn talked about how he went to like a Goodwill type thing one time years ago. In one of his videos, he did this video talking about it and ranting about it. And one of the employees there lied to him and said that the box that he literally just saw a bunch of Goosebumps books in, they told him that there were no Goosebumps books. They had nothing. They weren't there. He was like, look, I've been collecting these for like 20 years. You know, I know what they look like when I see them. They're in one of the boxes over there. Why are you lying to me? And then it just kind of became a big thing. Well, there's some of the books that I've been looking for a long time that I managed to finally, thank God, get my hands on. Like, it came from New Jersey, My Life as an Artist, the Tim Jacobus, the cover artist for the old books. His autobiography thing that he wrote to go along with R.L. Stine's My Life as a Writer book. And Goodwill was one of the people listing, My Life as an Artist for like $800 on Amazon. It said Goodwill. They were the company putting this out, just like you would see thrift books or you would see Better World books or any of those things. It honestly shocks me how stupid this is. Again, you can go online and you can find Goosebumps for like $2 at Amazon and stuff. And I know that there's not everybody on the freaking planet trying to sell Goosebumps online. I just know there's not. It's impossible. again, maybe it's just my area. Maybe there is some kind of scalper man that's walking around, or multiple scalper men who are walking around grabbing a bunch of stuff as soon as they see it, as fast as they possibly can, so they can sell it. Maybe they have an inside source who puts it to the side for them so they can grab it then. I don't know, but it's impossible. There's no way that all these places are not carrying Goosebumps. I'm sorry for the giant rant. I just wanted to throw that out there of why I get so frustrated with this and why it takes so long to try to get my collection together. And I'm also somebody who likes to see a physical copy of the book. Because I don't want to buy something that's absolutely destroyed. I want to make sure it has a cover, and I want to make sure it's in relatively decent condition. If I can get it that way, then I will. If it's something harder to find, then I'll accept an acceptable copy. Flaws and all. But I prefer to buy in-person items rather than buying something offline. I just do. But I don't know, guys. I'm getting to the point now that I think that we might as well start collecting things like Slappy Birthday to You from Slappy World, and It's Alive, and Dummy Meets the Mummy, and all those things, just because. Maybe one day they're going to be impossible to find. I don't know. I can't even believe I'm not seeing things like the Slappy World books floating around. Maybe somebody read one, didn't like it, and threw it in their stack to sell. I just cannot process this. How can I find comics of Bugs Bunny and stuff from like the 30s and 40s and 50s, but I cannot find Goosebumps that came out 20 years ago, or 25, something like that. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded. I just wanted to rant to you guys about all this because this is ridiculous. If anybody has any idea of any other kind of store or whatever that I could get these from that aren't online, I would love to hear it from you. I would love to hear what you have to say, because this is getting ridiculous. I don't understand how none of the stores locally have anything used-wise. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry for ranting to you. It really pisses me off, the fact that I cannot find this stuff anywhere. I can't even find a piece of merchandise, like a hat or a shirt, like I said. It's dumb. It's really, really dumb. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me rant and get this off my chest, because I'm really irritated and over the whole thing, and it's obnoxious. I think the obnoxiousness is the worst part to all of it. If you're a Goosebumps collector, just give up on thrift stores and all of this other stuff. Just don't even try. Don't go to antique stores, none of that stuff. You're not going to find anything. You're not. You might find something, maybe one book, maybe two. I found 3 that one time, and every single time I've been to an antique store ever since, I haven't found anything. I've given up. I'm giving up looking for it in person. Unless I know somebody died or somebody has a yard sale, that's the only time I'm going and looking for the things. I give up otherwise. I'm not buying anything from thrift stores or any of that anymore, because there's nothing there to buy. Anyway, thank you guys. God bless you, and goodbye.